friends, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing another ranking video. I did a ranking video on my foundations, my liquid and cream foundation several months ago, and I felt like it would be helpful to do a ranking video kind of tied into that, but not really. So ranking my foundation brushes for you guys and telling you why I like certain ones and which ones I recommend. I posted a poll on my Instagram stories about a week or so ago, asking you guys what you preferred using when applying your foundation, whether it was a sponge or a brush. And I'll put up the results somewhere here to give you guys an idea. So I felt like it would be helpful for those of you that do use a brush, which ones are my favorites and which ones I recommend. So I have I have four foundation brushes that I'm going to be talking about today that I have here in front of me. I had 5 originally on my list, but the 5th one, for whatever reason, I can't find it. So I'll post a picture when we talk about that one. And I do have a combination of drugstore and high-end in terms of pricing. So we're going to start off with the brush that I probably use for the longest amount of time, but it does happen to be the brush that I don't have right now. And it is a drugstore brush, and that is the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. It's the R2-200. And I'll post a picture of it somewhere here. And interestingly enough, with this brush, I'm not 100% sure if it was discontinued or maybe they repackaged it, because when I went to look up the pricing on it, I didn't seem to be able to find it being sold on its own at Ulta or Target or the drugstores. The only place I found it where you can buy it on its own is on the Real Techniques website, and it looked quite different from the OG one that I used to use. So that brush, depending on where you purchase it from, ranges between $7 to $10. The $9.99 or the $10 is at Ulta. This brush I used for many years, mostly because it was a drugstore brush and the pricing was something that I could afford at the time. But comparing it to some of the other brushes that I have, that would be the lowest on my ranking. So out of the 5, that would be my number 5. It is a smaller brush and it is pretty dense from what I remember. So if you enjoy smaller, more dense brushes for your foundation application, that may be something that you like. Okay, next brush that we're going to talk about is a brush that, if you have been watching beauty videos for a while, you're probably familiar with this brush. And this is the Morphe M 439. And it is the Deluxe Buffer Brush. And this brush is about $18. It's sold on the Morphe website and at Ulta in-store and online. And it's a pretty dense kabuki brush. It is soft. And I do like that it's pretty dense. I like that it's a round kabuki brush versus the flat top. So I'll just let you guys know right off the bat, I don't enjoy flat top kabuki brushes or flat top foundation brushes in general. I find that those don't distribute my foundation as nicely or as evenly as a round top does. And also I feel like it leaves more streaks. So the negatives towards this brush, in my opinion, is I find it really hard to clean. And honestly, I don't really know why that is. Maybe because the bristles are so short. I feel like the product gets stuck right in the middle, and I really have to go over again and again and again, cleaning it with, brush cleaner to get all of the foundation out of there. But I don't think it's a bad brush. If you're washing your brushes regularly, you might not have as much of an issue with that. This brush was the first foundation brush to replace my Real Techniques brush, and I used this for several years as well. I actually own 2 of these, and I've used it for foundation application for a couple brides that I've done their makeup for. So not a bad brush at all. It's a pretty decent brush, and for the price, I mean, compared to some of the other high-end brushes that I have, it's something that you may want to look into. The next brush that we're going to talk about is also a drugstore brush, and this brush is actually one that kind of blew me out of the park in terms of I wasn't expecting it to perform this well when I purchased it. This brush is relatively new to my collection. I would say, 3-4 months or so. And this is from e.l.f. and this is the e.l.f. Complexion Duo Brush. So it's 2-sided. And I believe I picked this up when I tried the e.l.f. Camo CC Cream Foundation. I think the second time is when I picked this one up. This brush is $8, guys. $8, and it is so good in my opinion. It's easily available. You can find this at any drugstores, Walgreens, CVS, Walmart, Target, Ulta, and online. It distributes my product beautifully. I don't find that it leaves streaks or that it sheds. I've washed it multiple times, and as you can see, I mean, I just washed them 2 days ago. It is really soft. The bristles on this brush are not as densely packed as the Morphe brush. So just to give you an idea, see how these don't move as easily as these brushes here. But I feel like this one has kind of a, what is this called? Like a duo fiber-esque to it, that it really helps distribute the product beautifully. I feel like I don't have to use as much foundation with it. And the other side of it here, you can use it for concealer. I sometimes use this for my cream contour as well, if I'm just dipping into the pot and kind of tapping it in. However, this kind of dual-ended brush is actually not my favorite thing because I find these really hard to store. I store almost all of my makeup brushes in something like this where they're standing straight up. So when I store this brush, I have to store it flat, and I feel like it's just touching too many things and it can get dirty a lot quicker. Right, so now we're moving into more of the higher end brushes, and this brush that we're going to be talking about is from It Cosmetics brushes for Ulta, and this is their Love is the Foundation brush. This is one of their limited edition brushes, and I say limited edition, but like not really. It Cosmetics releases a Love is the Foundation brush every year in October for breast cancer awareness, and this brush was the one that was released two or 3 years ago. I'm not 100% sure. I was first introduced to this brush from watching Kathleen Lights rave about it so much on her channel that I finally decided to pick it up. And you can see it has this kind of a heart-shaped brush, which I really love. I feel like the heart-shaped brush, or this kind of divot right here, really helps get in here by my nose. It's that round topped kabuki that I like, really soft, dense bristles, and I love the handle as well. This brush retails for $30, and you can only get it at Ulta. So the year that I bought this, I really loved it, and I wanted to get a backup of it. So the next year around, they released their Love is the Foundation brush, and it was similar to this but not the same. It was actually a flat top, and I didn't notice when I bought it. So when it came and I noticed it was a flat top and I used it, it just didn't work for me for the reasons that I mentioned before, so I ended up returning it. And then last year when they released their Love is the Foundation brush, I guess because of all the feedback that they received about how much this particular brush was loved compared to the flat top, they released this same exact brush. So I actually did pick up a second one just to have as a backup. And then this year again, they released it, and I'm 99% sure it was this exact brush because it looked exactly the same. It was the round kabuki brush. So this brush, out of the 4 that we've talked about so far, had been my number 1 for the past 2-3 years. Since I started using it, until this next brush came along and knocked it out of the park. And this next brush is a high-end brush in terms of price range, and this is the Anissa Beauty Pinnacle Foundation brush. So you may or may not have seen this brush on Instagram, and if you haven't seen this brush yet, where have you been? I feel like it's been all over Instagram recently. I first came across this brush by watching Rose and Ben on Instagram. She would use it in pretty much every single makeup tutorial and talked about how she loved it. You can see that it is not as rounded as some of the other brushes that I've shown. If it looks a little stained, that's because I used it today. It's densely packed as well, but gives you some movement, and the shape is kind of in this triangle shape, which I enjoy, and it also helps get into those crevices. The Anissa Pinnacle Foundation brush also retails for $30 and is available on the Anissa Beauty website. I do also have skincare brushes If you haven't checked those out, I would highly recommend you check them out. If you guys are interested in me doing a video on the skincare brushes or the ones that I really love, leave me a comment below and I'd be more than happy to do that. So those are the 4 or 5 foundation brushes that I have used extensively and wanted to share with you guys. In summary, I would say my #1 higher end foundation brush is definitely the Anissa Beauty. I love the way it distributes the product. I love how easy it is to clean, which is something I didn't mention. I don't feel like I have to go in time after time after time to clean this. With this brush, though, I don't know if I mentioned that you do want to go in with more of a patting motion or a tapping motion versus buffing. I found that to work a lot better with this brush. And in terms of my drugstore brushes, there's quite a bit of a price difference between these two. So $18 compared to $8. Of the two, I would recommend the e.l.f. Complexion Duo Brush over the Morphe brush. Now, this is just my preference. When I go in with my foundation, I don't like to put on a heavy layer. So I go for more a medium coverage. So if you're looking for something that's going to pack on more coverage, you may want to use a denser brush to take advantage of the pigment in your foundation and to really pack on that pigment. So keep that in mind. It just depends on what you're going for, what type of finish and coverage you're going for. And I will leave links to all these brushes in the description bar below if you're interested in picking any of these up. None of those links are affiliate, so don't have to worry about that. But leave me a comment below. Let me know what is your favorite foundation brush, whether it's high-end or drugstore. I'd love to know what other brushes are out there and which ones you guys are enjoying, and who knows, maybe I'll find a new favorite brush. And we can also share that information with everybody else that is reading the comments and help them find their favorite or their perfect foundation brush. We've come to the end of the video. Thank you for sticking around. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Layla. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and like this video before you go. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Thank you so much. Make sure you've also hit the subscribe button and also turn on your notifications to be notified every time I upload a video. I usually upload videos once a week on Tuesdays, but every once in a while we'll throw in a bonus video during the week. So to get notified, again, ring that bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.